Why the Substitution Jutsu in Naruto is useless. Substitution Jutsu in Naruto was one of the first jutsus to be used in the first Naruto arc. It was commonly used and was a kind of jutsu used to deceive the enemy in thinking they've gotten their opponent until the person turns into a log of wood, which then gives the opponent the opportunity to counter back with another attack or jutsu. Although it was used a lot in the early parts of Naruto, the usefulness of this jutsu wore off and Masashi Kishimoto saw the need to do away with the jutsu. In today's video, we will be looking at the Substitution Jutsu in Naruto, why it's quite useless, and why its usage was reduced greatly. Before we continue, don't forget to smash the like button at the end of this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's begin. The Substitution Jutsu is used the moment before they are to be struck by an attack. The client replaces themselves with a block of wood or something almost identical like a fellow human being, an animal, or a rock. Opponents may briefly believe that they have successfully struck the user because the attack does hit something. However, this is simply an optical deception and rivals will rapidly see what's occurred. Users can stage a counterattack during this brief lapse in the opponent's attention if they are quick enough. In the anime, the substitution log itself has been shown utilized as an assault, being applied with explosive tags. Alternatively, this presents users with an excellent opportunity to escape or to attack back. A good example of when this was used was in the belt test involving Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura against Kakashi. Also when Team 7 had a clash with the brothers from the Mist Village in the very first arc, which was the Zabuza's arc, and Kakashi gets restrained by chains and they proceed to blow him up into pieces, that was the exact moment he used the Substitution Jutsu. Also, in the fight between Jiraiya and Pain, the animal path of the Pain gets restrained by Jiraiya's hair and Jiraiya attacks him with spikes from his hair. That's when the animal path uses the Substitution Jutsu. So this clearly shows that something has to hit the user before the jutsu can be used. This method is based on kawarimi, a real-life form of ninja art in which ninjas use anything that can be mistaken for them to replace themselves. It is also used in sumo because it means a quick shift in position or adaptability to changing circumstances. To use the jutsu, you have to get hit by something that's supposed to harm you. It's when one gets hit that the Substitution Jutsu comes into effect. Some fans are of the opinion that a body flicker technique to use the Substitution Jutsu. However, this hasn't been stated anywhere. What is stated is that they swap places with something in the vicinity. Even if the body flicker technique may have been used, one still has to put something on one's body that can replace the user. Substitution Jutsu is more of the teleportation jutsu that occurs when you swap places with an object. And another interesting thing to note is that when using this jutsu, hand signs are not weaved before the teleportation occurs. It's assumed that the weaving of hand signs took place either off-screen or beforehand. This jutsu is like the jailbreak card in the Naruto series because when someone gets hit by a life-threatening jutsu and Kishimoto, the mangaka of the series, doesn't know how to get the person out of that particular situation, he automatically applied the card of Substitution Jutsu. You don't really have to think too much about the fight itself or the flow of the fight or the strategy. It's an easy jutsu to fall back to because it gets annoying. Because fans have this particular kind of expectation every time that when a character gets hit by a strong life-threatening jutsu, he's expected to use a substitution jutsu, and when he doesn't, fans start to ask why he couldn't just use it to get away. For example, fans would have been of the opinion that Jiraiya could have easily switched with the substitution jutsu to save himself from death by the 6 paths of pain. Since Jiraiya knew he was going to fight with the 6 paths of pain, although he killed one, he could have beforehand prepared to escape from any dire situation with the substitution jutsu. The only time a character was shown weaving hands to use the Substitution Jutsu was when Sakura fought against Zaku in the Forest of Death during the Sasuke retrieval arc. In theory, the Substitution Jutsu can make a character to break out from any life-threatening situation, and when you actually think about it deeply, it breaks the entire Naruto universe. Because it gets used multiple times and it's like a cheat code to escape death. Another thing that makes this jutsu quite useless is because it's an E-rank technique. E-rank techniques are the lowest tier of jutsu in the Naruto universe. They are the simplest jutsu in the Narutoverse to master and require the least amount of chakra to perform. Even academy students are expected to master before they leave the academy. This makes it not exactly a ninja jutsu. And it requires 5 hand sign which includes tiger, boar, ox, dog, snake, and it's also listed as a general skill every ninja is expected to know, which is clearly seen in the first arc and the second arc, as most ninjas make use of it, and it's also a supplementary jutsu. Substitution jutsu, however, with time diminished as the arcs went on, especially after the time skip, because Kishimoto later realized that the jutsu wasn't worth it anymore. Although initially Kishimoto preferred using this jutsu a lot during fights because he liked to ride various battles with fake outs, and Naruto as a series does encourage the use of fake outs. which is a cheap card to cheat death. When a character with a Sharingan casts Amaterasu, which is a flame that is casted by a Mangekyo Sharingan Eye and is the highest level of fire release that can destroy anything it hits and requires a large amount of chakra, why can't a character just easily substitute himself to avoid the jutsu? Well, this would happen if the character had beforehand casted the Substitution Jutsu. And it's a win situation for the caster of the Substitution Jutsu because he uses an E-rank jutsu which requires less amount of chakra to avoid a high-class jutsu like Amaterasu, which is a jutsu that's quite impossible to avoid once it has been casted. Once the Substitution Jutsu is cast, the person can dodge the jutsu by replacing it with another object. As mentioned by earlier, Kishimoto used the Substitution Jutsu lesser in the Naruto Shippuden, especially the Substitution Jutsu that involves a replacement with a log of wood. There are other types of complex substitution, for example, the Orochimaru type of Substitution Jutsu, where he simply changes his skin which makes it a very intriguing type. The Orochimaru type of Substitution Jutsu really fits his personality as a snake because it's not just disgusting, but most times he comes out of the mouth of the other body he used for substitution. And he can do that multiple times, although this particular type of substitution takes enormous chakra. Sasuke used it during his fight with his elder brother Itachi when Itachi landed an Amaterasu blow on him. His chakra got depleted quickly. And this actually does make sense because he used it to dodge an Amaterasu attack, and his choice was costly as it depleted him of his chakra. Gaara also had a unique substitution jutsu where he substitutes himself by his own sand. This is quite similar to the normal substitution jutsu, but it's a little bit different because he substitutes himself with a husk of himself which he produces with his hand. Also, Killer Bee substitution style, where he can substitute himself with a tentacle of the eight-tailed, which is another unique way of substitution jutsu, which is not only unique, but you use a lot of chakra to do so. A good example was in the War arc, where the jutsu was used to attack the ten-tails from above, and Kakashi had to use Kamui to bring the eight-tails into existence to attack the ten-tails, and it took a toll on Killer Bee's chakra. This particular substitution jutsu is quite powerful because he had used it countless number of times to escape dire situations like when Sasuke attacked him with Amaterasu and substituted himself with a tentacle of the eight-tailed beast. Madara also had his unique substitution jutsu, which is called a limbo clone, and he used it during his fight with Sasuke and Naruto. When they hit Madara with a powerful jutsu, Madara used the limbo clone to escape. Although this jutsu required a great deal of chakra, but since Madara was the ten-tailed Jinchuriki, he was ridiculously and extremely powerful. Now we wonder why Madara couldn't use a substitution jutsu to escape the paws of Black Zetsu, but if he did, that the plot of the story would have been ruined, so this still makes us question the usefulness of the substitution jutsu. However, when we come back to the original substitution jutsu, it doesn't really make much sense. Because although you as a viewer thought that the character was attacked by the enemy and is supposed to die because of some technique, the person escaped and turned to a log of wood or a goo. This jutsu is like a deus ex machina which can also be used to save the day. But you then wonder why it couldn't be used in dire situations like when Jiraiya died. Also, we haven't really seen most of the users of the jutsu weaving hand signs to activate the jutsu, and the only instance it was seen was when Sakura fought against one of the sound members. Showing the hand signs been weaved would make it better because viewers would have seen that the substitution jutsu had been casted beforehand, but just applying the jutsu from nowhere when it has been thought that the person had actually died, and not doing so in other instances make the jutsu questionable. Although the substitution jutsu had its relevance in the early parts of the series, but as time went on, the ridiculousness of the jutsu started showing more glaring and Kishimoto had to do away with the original concept of substituting with a log of wood. What are your opinions about this jutsu? Do let us know in the comments section below. You can also check out our video on Forbidden Jutsu in Naruto. Thank you for watching.